What's going on, guys? Daniel Rodriguez here, and welcome to my Resident Evil 7 Biohazard video game review. As you can see clearly, I have the PlayStation 4 version. It is also available on Xbox One and I believe PC as well. So in this video, there are no spoilers whatsoever. I am going to be giving you my pros, cons, and final score. And, I don't mean to say this and if you don't have Resident Evil 7 or anything, but I'm saying what I've noticed the past 2 days is everybody basically has this game and is playing this game or live streaming this game. As I did, it's on my channel the full 8 hours. Everything, man, and I've noticed a lot of people have this game already, man, and it's crazy. I'm super excited that it's getting good reception, that it has good word of mouth, it's spreading around, man, like an infectious disease, and hopefully, I mean, it's a really fun game, man. It's a really good experience. The first few hours are killer, and then it just it dissolves after a while, so we'll get into that right now. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. If you do, make sure to smack that like button and hit the subscribe button on your way out. Alright, let's jump in to the pros. Starting off with the pros, Resident Evil goes back to its horror roots. It goes back to the basics. And this one, man, I know Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6 were very different and it started to get more action oriented. You really don't have to worry about this problem here, man. And it's different. It's first person. It's still in the world of Resident Evil. It's a few years after Resident Evil 6. But let me tell you, the setting, the tone, it's killer, and in a great way. Absolutely, the vibe that the Baker farm gives off, the room-to-room hidden passageways, going down a basement, going up to the attic, everywhere, the lighting, the graphics, the textures. For the most part, when you go up to something, the textures do kind of get bland, kind of a little soggy, and that's not every little piece is detailed, but 90% of the whole game is just beautiful, with even body parts and blood and everything creepy that you would expect in a Resident Evil game, and 10 times that. But the graphics are very beautiful in here, man. It's gorgeous with the new engine that they have. The first person as well. It's just a more intimate experience, not that third person style. I absolutely love the first person view and the change that they did with it. Again, the setting is absolutely creepy. It is horrifying from time to time, but you do kind of get used to it. Like, I thought, oh, I'll never get to beat this game. I don't play horror games that much. I beat Dead Space 1 a few years ago, and I was surprised I even played Dead Space. I would have never played that shit. And I played it, and I beat it, and oh my gosh, I did it. And with this, this ain't scarier than Dead Space, which it's not. Yes, it brings off horror vibe, and it's horrifying at a time, but then you learn the rhythm, you learn the pattern, and then you just get past it, and as simple as that. But yes, the setting, the tone, the map, it's a giant map. No need to worry about, oh, it's a small area or this and that. No, this is huge. Think back to Resident Evil 1 in the mansion. You kept on going room to room to room. When is it going to end? When is it going to end? It never ends. It just keeps on going and going. This leads to another room. That leads to another room. That leads to the basement. This leads up to the attic. There is so much content in this world of Resident Evil 7. It's absolutely insane. Now, it wouldn't be Resident Evil without its boss battles, and I'm not going to go very specific in the boss battles. Of course, as you can imagine, some of the Baker family members, of course, will be little boss battles here and there. But my favorite Baker is the dad, Jack Baker. I believe it's Jake Baker, no, Jack Baker. The redneck and the almost bald and the beard and everything, and he just carries these weapons, and he's running after you, and these Bakers are crazy. Margaret Baker, Lucas Baker, the old woman in the wheelchair. I mean, the characters that they created and their design, and the voice acting is fantastic. Really good voice acting. The lines, the dialogue, the taunting. They taunt you a lot in this game, and it works. You open a door and you don't know where they're at. You don't know. You're trying to get away from them. You're trying to hide from them. It's crazy at times, man. It has yes, I know people say oh, PT feeling. It does have a sort of a PT feeling at a time from what the demo had. And and yes, it does have a little Outlast feeling. Very little, of course, comparison since it's first person and it's a horror game and you're hiding, but at least you're not hiding in lockers and shit like that. I mean, it's absolutely insane. That's one of the selling points that got me, was the Baker family. And let me tell you, the Baker family does not disappoint. The story behind them is very interesting, and the first few hours is some of the best I've ever played in a very long time for a horror game. And you just dive into this world and you search around every nook and cranny inside the Baker farmhouse. You go everywhere and you want to learn more, and the whole house is a character itself. Also, a few seconds ago I mentioned the voice acting. All the actors do a damn good job, but the sound design and the sound effects in here are also some of the best I've had in video games in a very long time, or that I've experienced. And imagine it in VR. You could hear footsteps from the other rooms, doors closing, creaks on the floor. I mean, you could literally hear the Bakers moving inside the house, and I don't think it's just some time-triggered shit. No, it's actually really them moving through the house and trying to find you. It's scary as hell. And another fun thing about this game, since the map is so huge, there is no loading. There really isn't. When you go to the next room and the next room and the next room and all that, there is no loading, there's no this, there's no that. Everything is preloaded already, which is fantastic. And last but not least, for the pros, some of the new updated things in the Resident Evil franchise, like the Codex, a watch that could tell you your health. It has the green lines, you're healthy. It has the medium lines, you're injured a little bit. Red, you're almost near death. I absolutely love the new system there, and the detail even on the character's arm, and the way that they do they have herbs in here, but the first aid kit, it's just a bottle and it has medicine in it, and you just pour it on your hand, and it's absolutely just like, oh, it's a cool thing. It really is. It's so different, and I like how they kind of made it a little unique and made it a little different, because there are a lot of little things that people don't notice in this game. There's a lot of detail in this game that people really don't notice, and I've seen multiple walkthroughs. Of course, I've beaten it one time, but I went to go see other YouTubers play it, and I was like, yeah, like they experienced it different than I experienced it. Like, everyone experienced it a different way, and that's something that I like. Because you go here, oh, you missed this, you missed that. You gotta look in every little place. You have to look everywhere, and you gotta make sure you get everything, because ammo is scarce. This is scarce. You have to find this weapon or find that weapon in order to survive from the Baker family. Now, like I said earlier, I beat this game within 8 hours, and every experience is different. Like I said a few moments ago, I heard someone say it took them 11 hours to beat, and the earliest I've ever seen on a comment was 6 hours. So it depends on what mode you're playing. It depends on how fast you're going, if you know where you're going, this and that. Everyone goes slow, everyone goes fast, everyone goes medium. It just depends on your play style. But either way, this is a very fun experience, and for the first few hours, I don't mind playing the first few hours again. Like, if I could just play the first 5 hours again, I will, because it definitely is a fun experience with Jack and Margaret. And then once it gets to Lucas, and then once it gets to near the end, the last 2 hours, I just didn't care for. Because the Bakers are a huge part of this, but the force behind it, when we kind of find out what's the main thing about this game, and I'm not going to say it, but when we find out the main villain, when we find out the main thing that's causing all of this, I was disappointed. And that's just my opinion. You could have a different opinion. I'll hear it. I want to hear your opinion as well, but I didn't care, because after a big boss thing in the game, near the end, it continues for another like an hour and a half, and I'm like, no, just end it. End it. We're done. That's it. And it drags on. It drags on, and you do another thing, and it turns into like a supernatural thing more than anything. I'm like, why is this ghostly now? Like, no, it turned into something that I didn't want it to turn into. And it loses itself. And that, for me, that killed it, where I was like, see, if I ever play this game again, I don't want to play through that part. I don't care for this part. I don't. Not gonna lie, the mold monsters in here get repetitive very quick. And, I like their design. It's a simple design, and some of them have, like, weird little blades on the side, and they're very slow. They're they're a hassle to take down. If you have to take them down, you can easily pass them, but then you get stuck in the freaking hallway and you're like, fuck! And you lose all your freaking rage and you're like, fuck, now I have to start over there again, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it gets repetitive after a while with the mold monsters. It does, because there's other times in the game after where they're in the basement and it spreads. And I'm just saying, it gets really, really annoying after a while because it gets repetitive. Just space it out. But no, they bring more and more and more. And that's kind of the problem I had with The Last of Us, with the tickers, the fungus creatures, which kind of, these are basically fungus creatures as well. It got repetitive because it's like one after another. Like, space it out in between. Just space them around. Have 5 of them in the game. You don't have to have like 20 of them in the game. Just 5 of them, like 1 here, 2 there, 1 there, 3 there. Something like that. I'm not going to go really into detail on Lucas, which is the baker's son in here. But I the voice actor, the acting's all fine. Like, I love his design, and he's creepy and all that stuff. Like, that's all cool. He was really, like, every baker's interesting, and they have their flaws, and they have their, high points and everything. But with really Lucas, that's a little far-fetched on what they did, honestly. And for me, I was like, okay, like, right with the Lucas storyline and then going towards the end of the game, that's where I was kind of like, if I ever play this game, I don't want to really play this part again. I don't. And this is kind of 50-50 on it. It's a pro and a con, that the puzzles are easy. I did like the sort of puzzles that they had. Like, some of them were kind of new to the Resident Evil franchise. I thought they were kind of cool. They're not great, like, oh, amazing puzzles. Uncharted 4 had... actually Uncharted 4 had easy puzzles too. Because if I could get the puzzles done within 35 seconds, you have something wrong, because I'm horrible at puzzles. I shouldn't be able to complete puzzles in 30 seconds with my brain, and I ended up completing them within like 35 seconds to a minute. So that's crazy. That's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. For some people, like, oh, the puzzles are super easy. You want it to be a challenge? They're not really a challenge. Heed my words, people. Mia and Evelyn, that's all I'll say. Mia and Evelyn. And those who have played the game, Mia and Evelyn. Let's just say towards the last 2 hours of the game. I understand the concept you're trying to do. I understand you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. But the setting, and it was a chore. It felt like DLC in a way. It's like, do I really have to play this? Do I have to? Now you're just turning into like Resident Evil 6, but first person, basically. Now, this ain't nothing to do with the bakers. I mean, it does slightly, but this has nothing to do with the farmhouse or like, no, you're ruined. Like, let's go back to that setting. Let's go back to the creepy house, not to this place. This is not my place. Bottom line, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is a really good game. It's a really good horror experience. It's not like the greatest horror game of all time. I thought I was going to be scared again for the most part, but then literally after like some gameplay and some trailers, you kind of known most of the parts, but you can tell when something's going to happen. You can tell when you're walking around a corner, okay, it's saving. There's something saving at the top. You can tell when something's going to come, literally. So you kind of just like prep your mind and say, okay, something's going to happen. Mind you, there are creepy things in here and grotesque, and sometimes it turns your stomach around, which is cool because you want to react like that. You just don't want to sit there and be like, huh, cool, huh, let's, oh, yeah. No, you want to be like, ugh, gross. Like, you gotta be a little like that, man. And I absolutely had a few reactions like that. So, with that, the first 5 hours are great. It is worth playing over and over again and trying to do different things here and there and even more exploring around the house. But after it gets to a certain point, really towards the end of Lucas's thing, and a choice, and then to the final mission, the last hour and a half, I just didn't care. That stuff ruined it for me. I don't give a shit for that. I hate all that. But the whole Baker family and the farm estate and everything like that, everything there was perfect. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I thought some parts were challenging, some parts were not. If you knew what you were doing, if you didn't know what you were doing, unlocking doors, doing this, doing that, the classic, like back to the roots of Resident Evil, and getting this key and looking for this key and doing a few puzzles and finding passageways and all that. All that was fun. You know, running back and forth, and it's a hassle, and I was going to put on my cons, like back and forth, but that's something that you had to do back in the original Resident Evil, you know, back and forth, you know, let's go to the chest, let's grab something, and oh shit, I forgot something in the chest, like, let's go back, you know what I mean, like, that was something there. I didn't really enjoy the ending either, the last minute, I didn't hate it. I'm not saying like, whoa, what the fuck? No, like, I'm like, okay, bring it on. What's the next game? What are we doing? But that's up to Capcom and all that, what they're going to do. But let me tell you, first 5 hours of Resident Evil 7, awesome. The boss battles, the horror, the level design, the character models, the dialogue, everything about it, man. It's creepy. The graphics are beautiful and grotesque at the same time. I'm going to give Resident Evil 7 Biohazard a 7.8 out of a 10, which in letters I say would equal about a B-. It is a really good game, and definitely everyone's playing it already. I'm just saying, so it is a game worth playing. Even if you're kind of like, I don't know, I was scared, or like, trust me, I was scared. Especially the first 10 minutes is creepy as shit when you don't know what's coming, because there's a lot of stuff from the trailer that you have not seen. There's a lot of stuff they're hiding from the trailers and gameplay. You have not seen shit yet, man. Wait till you get the disc in. Dive deep into this world. You get immersed into the world, and then you get taken out of it the last 2 hours of the game, for me at least. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, again, make sure to smack the like button, comment down below, tell me your thoughts on Resident Evil 7, share with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more video game reviews, upcoming reviews. I'm doing Far Cry 4, Killzone Shadowfall, Mafia 3, and of course For Honor, Neo, all that stuff coming very, very soon, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel. And if you want to watch my live stream on it, my 8-hour walkthrough, it'll be in the link at the end. Thank you guys, love you all. Keep rocking, man. Resident Evil is back. Resident Evil. Oh, baby. Yes, this is a good addition. A really, really good addition to it. It's not like the greatest game of the year. Mind you, yeah, it's the best game so far since 2017 just began, but it's only the first month. There's Mass Effect's coming out, baby. Zelda's coming on. Let's hold back a little bit, okay? Maybe it could be the best horror game of the year. Maybe. Prey's coming out soon. We'll see. But for now, yeah, it's the best game out of 2017 because it's the first month. Alright guys, thank you again. Yes, it's worth checking out. If you could rent it, be better, because if you beat it within, if you pay $60 and you beat it within 7 hours, 8 hours, again, it doesn't really have playthrough value. Like, it does the first 5 hours, but after that, you're kind of like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't care. Unless you're like a trophy hunter person, then go mad, go crazy, but I beat it one and done. I'll wait for DLC. That's it. I don't plan on playing the story until like maybe a few years later for me. But the first 5 hours are still killer. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.